songs that I know. Her big song, the My New Philosophy, is like the only song I knew from her.
We'll call the Gardner School Committee meeting to order. Mrs. Hellman, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Cormier?
Present.
Mrs. Hurst?
Present.
Mr. Lafreniere is absent. Mrs. Layton?
Present.
Mrs. Palavin?
Present.
Mr. Schwartz?
Present.
Mary Nicholson is absent. Then Dr. Pellegrino is absent. And Gina DeVito.
Present.
Right?
We'll now do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on, open time for the general public. Is there anyone from the public who would like to be heard? Okay. Moving on to recognitions by the superintendent or Dr. Gogan.
It's a sad moment. First time I have to bring my glasses to the podium to see these papers.
It's a sign of something.
It's a sign of something. But we are very excited because we have two really nice recognitions tonight. One is for at the early grades, our earliest, youngest readers. The United Way every year puts on a reading challenge during our winter and our spring breaks for our students, our earliest readers, using the Footsteps to Brilliance program that we have through the city, the community reading program. And this year, we have 10 different districts that are part of the consortium with Footsteps to Brilliance in the United Way in the Innovative Zone. And of those 10 different districts, we had the first and the third place winners for the reading challenge in the winter. And of that, I did a little bit of math. There were 1,219 total students participating out of the 10 districts. We had 277 of those students, which is about 25%. There was 6,976 books read, and there was about 1,541 hours of books read or something read during that winter challenge. So we had 462 hours of those reading minutes and hours, which is about a third of the total hours of the 10 districts. So we're really proud of that. So we had the first place winner and we had the third place winner. We had a little celebration with the United Way on Friday afternoon at Waterford Street School for the students. We do have some certificates here, and those students were not able to come tonight, but they are doing, the United Way is having a special celebration for these students as well. And on Friday, when they came to Waterford to share the news with the students, they were each presented with a basket of gifts, and one of those gifts included an Amazon Fire Kindle Fire. So the kids were really excited. They were both first graders. So I wanted to read their names tonight. The first place winner in the first grade was Ivan Moriasi. And the third place winner was also a first grader, and that was Jaleel Ellis. So. The other recognition that we have tonight is on the other end of the spectrum, which is at the high school. Every year when students take the MCAS exam, if they score high enough, they are eligible to win a scholarship for free tuition at a Massachusetts state college. And this year we had several students from both Gardner High School and Gardner Academy's Gateway program. So just a little bit of information about that. If the student chooses to go to UMass, they would receive a credit of $1,575 per year towards their student charges. If they go to other state universities, they'd get a credit of $1,036 per year. And if they go to a community college, they would get $740 per year towards their tuition expenses. So it's a really nice recognition for students who are really working hard. And so I would like to mention all of the names. Not everyone was able to attend tonight, but I wanted to give them recognition. So the first person, these are folks from the high school. I'll read those names first. And the first one is Nettie Bazile. The next one is Madison Hoyer. Next is Abigail Sayer, who is here tonight.
Is that how we have?
Yes.
And one more. Nice.
Thank you. Next is Soraya Sundermarthy. And finally, Xavier Tejada from the high school. At Gardner Academy's Gateway program, we have Gavin Brousseau, Chloe Case, Kelly Livingstone, Violet Richard, and Jasmine Santiago. And, oops, go ahead. And I do know that the Gateway program is going to have a special celebration for those students, so we will forward all of these certificates to those students. And that is all for recognitions this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Gogan.
It's great that we can afford scholarships for the children, and they do well in the testing. Certainly was not available when I was in school.
No, and the Abigail Adams Award is a state grant
Yeah,
scholarship.
it's a state thing,
And
yeah.
it's, we get a letter of recognition from the state each year naming the students, and each student gets their own letter.
It's great for the students that are reading that won awards. Hope they continue to read books and not electronically.
And they
Paper
will,
books are still in the vogue.
and hopefully they'll end up receiving the Abigail Adams Award.
Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. It consists of the approval of minutes from March 14th, warrant number 2236, 2237, 2238, 2239, and 2240. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Schwartz, seconded by Rachel Cormier to accept the consent agenda. Is there any discussion on the matter? Hearing none, we'll put the motion to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to the subcommittee reports, the Finance Subcommittee. Mr. Schwartz.
Thank you. Finance Subcommittee met on March 7th. The committee reviewed the expense report. Mr. Hawk noted the following, that the process of moving funds to cover the negative accounts has begun, and the usual suspects or lines on the budget that are still negative. Funds are available, but we will cover the deficits, and hopefully by the end of the FY, all of those accounts will be zero and not negative zero. The Elm Street school teacher line was dropped. $29,000 is due to the district taking advantage of the COVID reimbursement from the state. Gas and electric accounts are being reviewed to offset the negative balances. Mrs. Palavin questioned the negative balance in the coach's account, and Mr. Hawk noted that there was a salary for an athletic trainer, which is a new position, and that will be transferred to cover it. Mr. Hawk gave us an update on the GHS Landry Auditorium is still underway. Painting occurring and everything, and this was before the musical of the high school, because I went to that musical and I sat in a very nice looking comfortable chair. So this was pre of the musical. So I think the situation is well underway in repairing the seats. The athletic director is pleased so far with the work underway on the athletic fields, in particularly Stedman Field. Those who are not familiar with Stedman Field, it's way off to the right of the high school and to the left of the soccer fields or the practice football field, way up back in a corner, if those of you are not familiar with it. Gardner Middle School locker contract is finally signed. We've been talking about this every month. Finally, it is signed. So now the quest now is to get those installed, hopefully by summer. That's what it says here, by summertime. Watkins Field bathrooms and concession stands, the plans are being updated. We hope to bid on the project and have work to begin during the summer. Completion is hopeful by year end, and we hope to have something usable by Thanksgiving for the Thanksgiving football game. A discussion with Joyce West occurred around the pre-K operations and pricing. Virtually every district runs a pre-K a little different, and it looks like our model is the lowest priced model compared to the nearby districts. Next school year, we will need to go to 5 pre-K classes. The district does have a waiting list for peer models. A motion was made by Mrs. Plavin, seconded by Mr. Schwartz, to recommend an increase in the price to the school committee to $260 a month for full-time and $130 a month for part-time peer models. Student staff meal pricing was discussed, and a discussion occurred regarding the meal pricing, community eligibility, provision, CEP, provision 2, and the district's identified student percentage. Members, as well as multiple state and federal bills that have been filed to make all school meals free. That none of that's passed yet, but they're working on it. Mr. Hawk is working with Ms. Vickery and Whitson's on all the above, and should have more information in the coming weeks. The committee decided to wait until May or June to make a final decision on pricing for meals at the high school. Now I'd like to have a motion, as I had mentioned, that tuition for the full-day kindergarten and half-day kindergarten, full day being $260 a month, and the half-day being $130 a month. I have a motion to approve that for the coming year.
Motion made by Mr. Schwartz, seconded by Mrs. Hurst. Is there any discussion on the matter?
I had a question. What was the previous price?
Say that again.
The previous tuition price?
$221.10.
$221.10? Okay.
Okay.
And it was significantly lower than the other surrounding districts.
Yeah.
Basically, our full-day program was like what they were charging for half-days. So,
So we're still below.
any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll put the motion to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Schwartz. Moving on to Policy Subcommittee, Mrs. Hurst.
We met on Friday, and we had 3 policies we went over. JEB, the entrance age, and DJ, we had changed some of the wording in that. So those will be up for first read. And then we have the face covering policy again for second read tonight.
Any questions for Mrs. Hurst? Thank you, Mrs. Hurst. Moving on, Student Advisory Board, Mr. DeVito.
Alright, so the weekend of April 1st, so on March 31st, the band, jazz band, select choir, and chorus had their Micah preview concerts in the high school auditorium, and there was a lot of people in attendance, and it was a good show. That weekend, I believe April 2nd, all four of those same groups participated in the Micah competition. Chorus, I'm unaware where they went, but band went to Belmont. Jazz band, and select choir all got high bronzes, while chorus got silver. And then spring sports have finally begun. Girls tennis had their first match last week. They beat Littleton 3-2. Track also raced Littleton on last Thursday. Softball had their season opener today at Quabbin. They lost, but it was a close one, I heard. And then baseball has their first game at Quabbin tomorrow. And that was all I have.
Thank you. And moving on, item number 3396, the first reading of the policies. That's DJ for purchasing and JEB entrance age. Those are in your packets for informational purposes. Mrs. Hurst, is there anything you'd like to add regarding those policies?
Just that the change to the entrance age was due to a child coming in who had gone to a private kindergarten, but still won't be, the appropriate 6 for the first grade. But instead of making her redo kindergarten, so we're putting it in once they've completed kindergarten in another district, that they can, start first grade without the age requirement.
Thank you, Mrs. Hurst. Moving on to the next item, 3397, second reading of the policies, EBCFA, face coverings. Need a motion?
Motion.
Mrs. Hurst, motion made by Mrs. Hurst, seconded by Mr. Schwartz to accept the policy. Is there any discussion on the matter? Hearing none, we'll put the matter to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on, item number 3398, COVID-19 update. Dr. Gogan.
Okay. So start by saying that this is the biweekly dashboard for COVID cases in our district. The biweekly date would have been April 7th, which was 4 days ago, and at that time there were 21 positive cases. So we are down to 14 cases as of today. Total staff number is 4 people out with COVID. We have 10 students, and you can see on the right-hand side of the screen that it's broken down. There are 8 students at the high school, 1 at the middle school, and 1 at Elm Street, 0 at Waterford and at Gardner Academy. We still have 308 staff members taking the at-home test, participating in the at-home test program, which they get a box of tests every 2 weeks. There are 2 tests in those boxes. And we have 630 students still in that program. Last week, we did 87 testing pools for those who are in the pool testing program. And there were 3 positive pools last year, which is about 3% of our population who are doing pools, and that includes staff and students.
Any questions, comments?
So we don't have the state testing program, or an outside company would do the testing?
Yeah, that's the pool.
That's the pool testing, correct?
Okay.
Yes, and that's who, they're still doing that.
Okay.
There's the pool testing, and then there's the take-home, so kids can actually be tested twice in each week if
Right.
they want to be.
All right.
So the pool testing is on Mondays and Tuesdays, and then the at-home tests come out on Thursdays or Fridays to take home. And the hope is that if somebody's not feeling well, they can take the test on Sunday so that they don't come into school with something.
If they test positive.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, item number 3399, the 2022-2023 kindergarten registration. Dr. Gogan?
Yes, so as of today, we have 88 students registered for kindergarten. It's always very difficult for us to project the number of kindergarten students coming in for the next year. That's a typical number for this time of year. We do get an awful lot of registrations during the summer, and especially in August, right before school starts. And we do even get quite a few right after school starts. So, you know, we try to plan for 200. I think right now we're at about 176 students in our current kindergarten. So, you know, we could double that number for sure.
All right, thank you, Dr. Gogan. Any questions, comments? Moving on, item number 3400, we already did the vote on the preschool tuition. Item number 3401, it's the curriculum coordinator update. It's in your packet for information. Is there anyone who has any questions? Ms. Slayton.
Where did I put it? Oh, never mind. That was something for Courtney and Joyce.
Mr. Schwartz?
Just the fact that it's a well-done and very informative report. Thank you, Dr. Gold.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to item number 3402, the grants administrator update. That's also included in your packet. Any questions, comments? Okay, moving on. Item number 3403, the special education update. That's also included in your packet. Any questions, comments, concerns? Mrs. Leighton?
I just wanted to point out something that I just thought was really, really great about, there was a professional development day held on the 1st. It said mental health staff, instructional coaches, PBIS coaches. They were given a 1-hour training overview, but the nuts and bolts of it is that it was more of a proactive approach to in-class behavior issues, having them push in for those interventions rather than wait for it to happen. So I was just really impressed and encouraged to see that, because that's a big thing right now in classrooms.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Schwartz?
Again, Mrs. West did a great job in providing us some worthwhile information. And I just want to make note of when she was talking to us at the Finance Committee, I was in awe of the things and all the balls that she juggles in the air. She does a real fantastic job. So I want to thank her for that.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, item number 3404, the CPAC update. Mrs. Hurst?
We have a tentative CPAC chair, so I will keep you up to date on that.
That's great. Okay, thank you. Or any questions, comments?
A comment? I just hope we find a parent that has a child with issues that would volunteer and sign up to be president of CPAC.
Yep. That's how it has to be anyways, legally, so.
We'll have to railroad somebody in.
Well, I'm pretty sure that this woman's gonna take over.
Good.
And I think she's been participating in the meetings.
Yeah, she's been
right?
part of the meetings for a
Good.
while, so she understands it, she knows what it's all
Glad to hear.
about, so. And she has a son in the district, so. She also brings another unique thing to it, too, where he's adopted.
Right.
There's a lot of adoptive or foster parents who have kids that, could get, support from each other like that.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Hurst. Moving on, item number 3405, the MSBA new building project. It's on time and under budget. And I did forward, I think you forwarded it this morning, the update. Yeah. You get to see all of the pieces coming together, the classroom starting to form. I think it's really great and very excited, and at some point, hopefully we'll be able to do a tour again too. I think we talked about it a little bit, but we haven't set a date for that. Any other questions, comments?
I think it looks great. I love getting the email and reading through it and seeing all this stuff. It would be really nice to have a site visit again.
I'm jealous of the music rooms. Or I've heard they're the music rooms. So.
I know we're actually going to have music rooms.
I know, that's amazing.
Any other questions, comments? All right, moving on, communications.
I do have one communication, after hearing about the CPAC. We, as a district, are required to also have an LPAC, which is an English Learner Parent Advisory Council. And if we have more than 100 students, EL students, and we do currently have approximately 140 EL students. So we have been advertising for a couple of years. Actually, we had our first LPAC invitational meeting 3 days before the world shut down for COVID. And so we've been trying to build that LPAC up. And we had a few meetings via Zoom during the COVID time, and we weren't able to get any members to join. However, today we did have a meeting this morning and we had 7 attendees. So my communication tonight is to encourage anyone who is a parent of an EL student to contact us. If you're interested in being part of that Parent Advisory Council, we'd love to have more membership.
Okay.
Great, thank you, Dr. Gogan. Final comments of the school committee, Mrs. Leighton.
Just all the events that happened in March, the diversity week, the event that was like in the gym, all of the vendors and students. I walked in, I didn't realize it was going to be as big as it was, and I was like, oh wow, this is it was a lot. It was wonderful though. The musical was great. All the concerts were great. It's just good to see the kids' faces and hear the music and see them on stage again. So, and just I know I didn't leave comment with it, but also with Courtney Dunn and your report, they're just really good. And as a teacher and a parent, just seeing everything that goes on behind the scenes, it's just really encouraging. And really,
Thank you.
I'm really impressed by the reports. Thank you.
Great.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Hurst.
I also went to the multicultural event and the school play, and I saw one of the concerts, and it was so much fun. The play was it was so much fun. It was so great that they would it's good to see everybody out and doing things. It feels like a little more normalcy, but I'm very proud of the students who won the awards for reading and the students with the scholarships. I mean, there are a lot of good things that happen in this district.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Hurst. Mr. DeVito?
So, I wanted to say that parents from the graduating class this year, we are putting on baccalaureate again due to the last couple years not being able to due to COVID. And I was told to formally invite everyone here, including everyone who's not here. You're all invited to attend it. It will be May 31st at Annunciation Parish. And I'll have formal invitations on paper and stuff for everyone at the next meeting. And then I want to add NHS is also trying to bring back recycling at the high school in small stages, but we're working on that as well.
That's great.
Nice.
All right, thank you, Mr. DeVito. Mr. Schwartz?
Like Mrs. Hurst, I saw the high school play. It was great to see the students do their theatrical skills. It was really wonderful to see that again. The other night, this Thursday, I find us facilities committee are going to meet at the Helen May Sauter School, hopefully for the last time. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Mrs. Cormier?
I wanted to recognize all the students that were honored at the beginning with the programs, and it's no coincidence we had so many high school kids honored when we have the great reading programs for the younger grades. So it starts there. We can't expect them to succeed in high school if we're not starting at kindergarten and first grade and teaching them that skill. So I think that is a nice honor for the students and for the district. A lot of the questions I get from people in the city are about the school, the new school. So I really appreciate those weekly updates, being able to tell people, yes, it's really coming along. Everyone's expecting me to say, no, it's running late. Like, no, it's doing really well. It's nice to have that backup of those emails with actual information to say it's coming. So I think the city's very lucky to have that, and the students are going to be very, very happy in the fall to have a new building. So thank you for sharing those.
All right, well, thank you guys. Yeah, the only thing I would say is I did attend the Elm Street School play, which was adorable. The kids did such a great job, and I'm so glad that everybody's getting to do all of this again. You're right, normalcy for the kids, and I think you start to see the changes in how the kids are behaving and acting when they're able to participate in activities, so thankfully. All right, moving on, executive session. I don't think we have a reason for that, so we're in line for an adjournment.
So move.
Motion made by Mr. Schwartz, seconded by Mrs. Leighton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.